AJ, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. It's great to be speaking with you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about your new book, Crazy Is My Superpower. What are the listeners in for with this new book?
They are in for a story about starting at absolute rock bottom. For me, that was growing up in poverty, growing up around drug addiction and mental illness, and getting yourself out of it and finding a way to make yourself a superhero that can rescue you. And it's kind of my road to going from feeling powerless to being a strong champion in professional wrestling.
So yeah, it's about your life as a wrestler, obviously, as a lot of people know you from, but also your struggles outside the ring. So I guess a little bit for everybody out there.
Yeah, I hope so. I definitely wanted to make sure that there were stories that the wrestling fans could get a lot of joy out of and take them behind the scenes of really pivotal moments. But also to talk about stuff that we don't talk about so much in this society, which is mental illness, and to be open and honest about the struggles I've had with it in my family and in my own life, so people can start that conversation and start breaking that stigma.
Yeah, it does seem like something that a lot of people struggle with, but no one really talks about. And of course, AJ, you were able to overcome things and make your dreams come true as far as wrestling goes. So, what would your advice be, I guess, for the listeners out there? Maybe if they find themselves in a similar situation, maybe they feel like there's no hope.
My greatest goal in writing this book was to show people that when you are at your lowest, when you feel like you're alone, and that there is no hope, the only person that can stop you and the only person that can rescue you is yourself. And it is possible to go from being, a girl living in her car in New Jersey to a wrestling champion. And so that means really anything is possible. I had everything stacked against me and fought through it. And it really just makes you tougher and stronger, and it makes the finish line that much more rewarding.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of like a Rocky story in a way. I mean, overcoming the odds, not just getting into wrestling, but, as a woman, and then also, your size. I guess, what is it about wrestling that made you want to get into the business in the first place? Was it just a love as a child? Or?
Definitely. Growing up, I found such solace from the chaotic life I was in inside of the world of fantasy and video games and comic books and anime, and eventually in pro wrestling. And so to see that you could kind of become a real-life superhero, that it was possible to, put some spandex on and fight crime in real life was so inspiring. And I knew at 12 that I wanted to do that, and so I made it happen.
Well, and as a wrestling fan, it seems like nowadays women's wrestling taken much more seriously than it was even when you were in it. I guess you were a big part of that change. I feel like maybe ahead of your time.
That's kind of a cool place to be. I think that somebody's got to kick that door down, and somebody has to break the mold. And all I really ever wanted was to leave the business better than how I found it, and I feel like I've done that, and I'm so proud of that.
So with that being said, are you keeping up with WWE or just wrestling in general these days, or have you pretty much called it a day with that?
I mean, I'm not watching, but I do know, I do have some friends that are still in the business, and I keep up with it through them, and I ask them how they're doing, and I root for them. You want this next generation to be happy and kind of see their dreams come true. So I definitely root for a lot of the people that are there now.
I guess wrestling in general, it seems like backstage might be crazy in itself. You hear a lot of stories about just things being, I guess, a bit cutthroat. Did you find it to be that way when you were there?
I think it's kind of a circus in the most fun way, and you get the best results when it isn't a cutthroat kind of environment. And what I go through in the book is how having the support of my female roster and my male mentors, having the support of people is what really gets you to the top. So that's how it was for me, for sure.
Yeah, it's great. For people out there, wrestling is kind of a niche thing, or at least it was when I was growing up. And then also you mentioned, kind of comic books and anime and that sort of thing. So it's good to, be a role model, I guess, for people out there who think maybe they're alone and that sort of thing.
What I appreciate about my opportunity in wrestling was to, you live in this world where superheroes are real, where, the good guy can win, and that has been something that is so important to me. And writing this book is sort of the same story, The good guy, the person with all the obstacles against them, can come out on top, and I hope people get that from this book, and I hope they enjoy it.
Excellent. So I got to ask you, would you see yourself maybe getting back into wrestling in some form or another down the road?
I've learned to never say never, so I'm just saying not right now.
Well, AJ, I know the book is just out now, but what else are you up to? Anything else maybe in the works or any upcoming projects?
I'm working on book 2 now, so I hope this one is well received, and I hope people enjoy it because it's going to continue. And I'm just really enjoying writing. I'm enjoying this journey that I'm on now.
All right, AJ, again, I appreciate your time today, and looking forward to finishing the book and maybe seeing the second book coming out here shortly.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.